Morning all. As usual, we'll start with Bitcoin. When was that? I predicted that 2 days ago. We're going to come off. So, still hasn't come off, but I still think it will. I'll just wait for a few more to come online. So just waiting for a few more people to come online before I continue on. So in short, on the Bitcoin, it's still going down in my opinion. Hasn't broken up to the upside, and there are too many reasons. Not all of which I want to share with you guys, but in general, there are two main reasons. First of all, retail is not going to get rich because that's not how it works, and so therefore, retail wants it to go up, and it will not. So you have the composite man who just will tread on that. And if you don't know what the composite man is, look it up. So that's one reason. The second reason is none of this looks like an impulsive up wave. You haven't got, we talked about this the other day. You haven't got, if this is a one, then where's the impulsivity in this? Where's the pullbacks? Where's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? It's not happening. This one here really doesn't have it either. So the things are not in place. This area here is all corrective. I still regard this as corrective because we're just not getting the right behavior out of it. So there's two reasons. There's the whole psychological and the composite man argument, which is it just doesn't rally from here, and the other one is the price action is not confirming it. So I'm still calling it down, and the next area where I care is kind of here, in the sort of 36, 35 and a half, 36 area. I start to care there. I start to look at the price action. So when it reaches there, which I believe it will, I will be staring at the price action, looking for some kind of reaction. If we go under and retest on the downside, expect further losses. If we bounce from here aggressively and get another retest back down, then I'm thinking, now this might be a more propitious time to get long of Bitcoin. You have to understand the mentality. I don't care about this knife catching that you'd have to do, trying to pick a bottom. Don't care, because after that I don't know what happens. After this one I didn't know what was going to happen. After this one I didn't know what was going to happen. After this one I didn't know what was going to happen because I wasn't getting the right behavior. I'm very happy once I see the right behavior to get in higher, but with far more probability of being correct. And that's kind of the way I think about it. So long story short, we're sideways again in Bitcoin. And if you look in the hourly, there's not much you can read into this. But, have we seen a tailing off and a double top? Yeah. If anything, if gun to my head, I'm certainly short. That does not look like a standard pullback. It does, pullback means up, pullback, up, pullback. So like up, pullback, up, pullback, up, pullback, up. No, it's not gone up. So we've lost the impetus, and the longer this lasts at this level, the less likely it is to carry on. Now it doesn't mean it won't try for this yellow line again, 47. It might do it again, because we're in a process of taking out people's short positions, because that is the same and would have panicked all the shorts into buying it back. Taking out people's long positions because this was slightly lower. We'll take out a few more longs because there'll be absolutely no doubt that we've got quite a few stop losses here, and that will give us impetus to get down to the next level. So long story short, I'm still bearish. I still don't think this is it, and I'm happy to wait. And if it turns out that I'm wrong, I haven't lost any money and I'm looking after my capital. So I'm good with it. I'm good with the short stance. I still am. Mozinet, double top did not yet break the support yet. Maybe we'll have a few tops. So you may have a point there. You may have a point. Like I say, it could get to the yellow line. Yellow line is sort of a big resistance level, and it's kind of bounced off just short of it. So it could still have the opportunity. I guess what I'm saying is, downward moves from here, because we've had so much retail hype, so much build up, so many people long now. I think downs from here could be reasonably violent. First stop 41,750, maybe 42. Second stop 36 for me. So anyhow, that's that one. Any more requests? I've got some material, obviously, if people don't want to know anything particular about anything else. Particular, I'm going to talk about DXY, Euro USD. I'm certainly going to talk about those. Is it possible to go down from 35k? Yeah, I think it stops at 35k and perhaps has a little mess around there. But, you know, is it possible to go lower? Yeah, I'm actually expecting it to. In my head, the value area where the institutions want to buy, switch out to a 12-hour, is south of this line. So this is where they care, down here. And, you know, where will they pick up even more liquidity if they get it through? Well, they'll get it through down here under the recent lows. So here, all the way down here, and then under 35, they'll be trying to pick it up again. That is their value area. And this one is where they'd like it to finish so that they can panic everybody. And, you know, when everything's on fire and everyone's walking around, running around with their pants on their head, you know, that is the time the institutions are interested. Right now, everyone's thinking this is fantastic. You know, everything's brilliant. I'm walking around, look at me, I'm long a Bitcoin, it's never going down. Diamond hands, you know, the list goes on, but it's hype. Pants on head time, that's when you want to buy it. Right, thoughts from the DAX for FB82. Is that FB or FIB? FB82, thoughts on the DAX. I reviewed this a few days ago, don't mind looking at it again now, see what we got. Yeah, we've got a shortening of the thrust here. So you've got quite a decent up move. Now normally you do look at things like trend lines for an upward trend, an uptrend. You look at the bottom, but it's also worth looking at the top. So if you just draw another one across the tops, I mean from there, oh come on. I'm always too quick with my clicks on TradingView. See how that thrust has faded and we've got a bit of a topping out, and that's reflected in the euro market, the Euro Stoxx 50 as well. So you know, I'm least bullish about these lot. Let's have a look at the Euro Stoxx 50. Yeah, I made the point. In fact, that's now starting to recover and have another little go. So the DAX seems to be a little bit behind it. You know, so if you wanted to do a trade, perhaps sell Euro Stoxx, buy DAX. If you want to buy the DAX, that is, it hasn't really performed in the same way. You know, in general terms, I don't regard these things as looking particularly healthy. Let's look at the CAC 40 as well. And CAC 40 has performed better, so the DAX is lagging. DAX is lagging the others. You know, am I bullish of equities? You know, to a point. The trouble is being bearish of them, as I've said in a few streams now. You know, trying to pick these bear moves, they never go down as far as you think, and you end up losing money most of the time. And really, buying the dips is the answer in stocks, because you know that seems to be the answer. Now, I've got my target for S&P, which is still higher. I mean, up here, I definitely start shorting it, looking for a correction. But you are getting this shortening. This is what's called shortening of the thrust, where you get this curve here, where it's not quite making higher highs with the same alacrity as it made them before. Look at this, you know, vroom, straight up all year. And now less keen and less keen and less keen and less keen, you know. So if I was long and looking for a point to sell, you know, definitely here. You know, up around here, I'm definitely interested in selling, you know. And if I'm not that in love with the position, then I wouldn't have any trouble thinking about selling it now, just because of this shortening of the thrust. I mean, if you want to look at it on a daily and actually look at daily price action, you can also do that. In fact, let's look at the weekly and see what that looks like. Just want to hide all these so on the weekly, that is still pretty stratospheric rocket ship, isn't it? But you can just tell that it's tailing off a little bit. And weekly, so this one tried for a push down, fail. All of them are trying for pushes down and failing. So right now, you know, there's no reason to sell it here, any particular reason. And that is stocks in general. And if we look at the DAX and now look for actual price action on a weekly, once, you know, several attempts, all foiled by the end of the week. The weekly is quite good for this because people dress their books up at the end of the week. And so they will bid something up if they're long it. And that does appear to be what is going on here. And so while you got this shortening of the thrust, and I wouldn't be saying to myself, right, this is a time to get in. You know, overall, what would I do? Trouble is, it's equities, so gun to my head, I always buy them because they go up over time. But there are better times to buy them. There really are. Okay, so that's DAX. Pants on the head. I don't know what Fabian is. Is that a coin, Fib? I'm sorry, I'm not with that reference. I'm going to type Fabian in because I like typing things in. No, there's nothing there, so I absolutely know what you're talking about, Fib. FB, initial. Oh, it's your name. Fantastic. Morning, S.O. Leggin. And so I'm going to read your whole name out because I love it. A106512. Do you certainly anticipate bull market, fifth wave of Elliott? I mean, is it possible to go in bear market? I think you mean Bitcoin. And I would say, yes, we do anticipate that Bitcoin will go up again. It's just that we're waiting for the right time to get in. And that's also true of the other alts, which are either flying high right now. You have Ethereum right back up to almost where I sold it in April. And XRP over $1. I mean, these are great. You know, I love it. However, if Bitcoin takes a dump, they're going to take a dump, and then I'll be interested in looking at them because I don't want to be getting in at this level right now. It's too high for me, and I'd rather miss it than not. I'd rather miss it completely than get in at the wrong price and be kicking myself. It's just the way I am, and it's just kind of a long-term trader view that I've got together. Anybody else? What's this? Q33NY1107. Blimey, these names. BTC daily short, BTC crash daily alert. Yeah, I personally think it goes down. So I don't know if it, you know, if you are someone who wants to short it, make sure you leave your. Let's go back to BTC just for a sec. I would say make sure that you leave your stops in high enough, so high above this 47. So maybe stop at 48. So if you're going to look at like a 4 hour or something like that, you know, if I'm looking to short here, I definitely want my stops up here and not just above previous highs. So that is my advice to you. And don't forget, it's still a good trade. It's still a good trade with a high risk reward. So selling here with a stop above, where's that? About 47,500. We'll put it at something like that. And you know, first stop there is 1.6, and then you can see what the behavior is like, and either take it off or run it further. And you know where I think the next big level is a 4.5 risk reward. But you're going to have to sit in there for a while and be short. What I'm saying is it's so easy to get caught, and so many people say to themselves, well, I'll put my stop here on the previous high because if it goes higher than that, I'm wrong. Actually, you're not necessarily wrong. You are wrong if it gets all the way over the major part of this resistance, which is more obvious on Z. See that one there? Okay, so that's kind of how I'd think of it being short. Any thoughts on IOTX, established alt that has just started to move after a few years plodding along? I don't have any. I'm going to look at it for price action. Wow, that's pretty interesting. Let's try that again. Don't have enough data, do I? Literally nothing, unless it's all the data's down below, perhaps. Sometimes they come up from nothing and start. No, absolutely nothing there. Can't really help you with ITX. Ian Douglas, so we're hoping for a 0.5 pullback, which indicate wave 2 coming on BTC. So Okay, so that's interesting. So we'll go back to BTC because I do want to talk about this, because one of the things you can look at, and another reason to not be, let's just get rid of some of these drawings. So one of the reasons you can do this is to look at this. You could say to yourself that you've got a correction on a monthly. So let's remove this ABC and replace it with a monthly ABC. So if this is a monthly trade, you've got this potential situation. And then you get C down here. And I'm just guessing the Fibonacci level, maybe it's here. So you do have that as a potential. I'm just going to make that a bit more obvious. Okay, so that's perhaps what you mean. Personally, I'm not 100% sure if that's just another nail in the coffin of the bull case for me. But in terms of what I'm expecting, I'm not really looking at Fibonacci style pullbacks. I'm actually looking at, if you look at the day, go back to the daily. I'm looking at this whole area here, which was for a long time the center. Come on. The center of the price action, and you'll notice, well, I didn't put it quite on the middle, but there's the middle of it. So that for me is a level, and I expect us to revisit that, and then I'm very interested in price action at that level. So there you go, there's the answer. It's got not a great deal to do with pullbacks. I'm going to try a fib, and perhaps it actually has some kind of value on that. This is a 0.618 pullback, you see, so that I'm interested in. I feel that is potential. So that is an area of interest. This bit here, I will be looking at it when it gets there and saying to myself, well, now what does the price look like doing? Does the price look like literally zipping through and heading straight down and retesting going down? That's one story. Or if it bounces and then has another little look and starts to look impulsive followed by corrective, you know, then I'm thinking, oh, hello, this is interesting. But until that happens, I can't tell you. A106512. So considering hash indicator in your wisely analysis won't go under the 28600. Yes. I don't know. I wouldn't like to predict the bottom of this. I think it does go under the previous low, because that will really shake out a few people, cause it to go further down, at which point the big boys can just soak all that up. Thanks very much. All that liquidity swallowed up, and they'll probably play the same game down here as they have been up here, where they've been going up, down, up, down, up, down, just catching longs, catching shorts. Right. Guraziza Shadiva, blimey. IOTX on Binance. Okay, let's go back to IOTX and see if I can get it up. TX, Binance. Oh, hello. All right, sorry. Thanks for helping me out there. Right, the trouble is with all these things, I know nothing about IOTX. IOTX, I absolutely nothing about it. Okay, I don't know what it stands for, what it's for. I would say that it's not been around for massively long. Has it been around for months? No. So when does it start? November 19. So the trouble is, and I've mentioned this a few times when it comes to altcoins, is that the only ones that are really looking at Elliott wave analysis are the ones that have been around for a while and have institutions who are interested. Okay, and that is basically Bitcoin and Ether to a certain amount. So the Ethereum token is the only other one which really seems to be behaving. And when I say behaving, it means it's behaving like something that's been around for a while and the institutions are playing. Because then you can see their fingerprints, their sticky, disgusting fingerprints all over everything. And you see that in foreign exchange pairs, obviously, in gold, in oil, but only recently have you seen it in crypto. And there's really only those two pairs that are worth looking at on an Elliott basis. Everything else, all I can give you is price action. So what do I see here? A huge weekly spike. Come to the daily, I bet I don't learn very much more. You know, there's not much in this. You know, if you're going to look for a pullback, pretty much all I can give you is that if you're going to look for a pullback, it's probably to here. Oh God, come on. I never click long enough on that and I always miss the pickup. So, you know, if you're going to look for a pullback to get long, it's probably there. What's that? 8.3, something like that. That's all I can give you on that one. That's very kind of you, A106512. Yeah, I want to look at DXY. Okay, I want to look at DXY because it's interesting. It's interesting right now because basically it's playing out as expected. So let's look on, this is daily, will do as long as I shrink this enough. So 0, 1, 2, this is kind of a weekly plot, yeah? 3, so this is the big, the yellow one is the weekly. I'm actually going to make it big. So there is our weekly plot. And so where are we on the weekly? We think we're in a 4 or 5 on the weekly. So then we switch down to the daily. So we'll just shrink that a bit and we look at the daily, which is a white one, and I'll make that 4. And so on the daily, you know, in the start of this weekly 5, we want a 1, 2, brilliant. And then we're expecting a 3 all the way down through this major support, 4, 5. So if this is a 3, the white 3, then we're interested in seeing the beginnings of a green 1, 2. And lo and behold, we've got one. So let's slit in here, put this back to 1, put the green one up. It's still not obvious enough. Probably need to just change the colour to something brilliant and amazing. Let's put blue. So now we're looking in detail and asking ourselves, have we got a 1, 2 action? Actually, we do. So let's go in on like an hourly now and see what it looks like. And so for me, you've got this 1, 2. It's a massive pullback. It's in fact a double top. And in fact, I think it might have officially broken Elliott rules by going like a pip over what it should have done. Okay, and then we've got after the number. Yes, isn't it funny how the numbers just coincide? This is non-farms, and this is yesterday's figures, and now we've pulled away from it. And interestingly, the most interesting thing is, out of all of this, you know, given the fact that, you know, I think the dollar now goes weaker for some considerable time, for months. What do we get? I got this email this morning. Euro USD, strong sell on a daily. That's saying that the dollar will go up. Strong sell on pound USD. USD Japan, strong buy. These are all bullish dollar calls. Isn't that interesting? All these people making the same calls. And that what the picture I'm seeing is 100% reversed from that. So I'm expecting another little pullback here and go. Now, the thing is, I'm willing to wait for it. I want to wait for it to go, because if you think about the amount of room I've got, if I'm right here, look how much room I've got. So do I care about these pips here? Do I care at all about this? What's that? 0.7%. Whereas if we go out to what I'm looking at on a daily chart, what am I looking to win? So I want to wait. And I'm seeing that and I'm saying to myself, right, you know, what am I looking for? Initially 3.5%, and then after that, you know, still more. You know, there's like 8% in the dollar here. Do I care about 0.7%? No, I really don't. So what's interesting to me is at exactly the same time I'm getting fully bearish on the dollar and really liking the bear story. What do I get? A load of technical people telling me to do exactly the opposite. So I think that's fascinating. I really do. Right, so Girazi Zashadiva, that's fine. Thank you for that. He says, I totally get that. I was just helping out with the data. I personally have been only in Bitcoin since 2014. I've been holding ever since. Just recently started exposing myself to Ethereum. What's your long-term plan for Ether? Yes, I expect when Bitcoin falls, which I think it will, then Ether will fall. And when Bitcoin starts and convinces me that it's going up, that's when I buy Ether. That's when I buy XRP as well. Tortoise, this is great stuff. Learning a lot. Good to hear it. Ian Douglas, the drop on DXY should be a good tailwind for BTC. Yes and no. I mean, I've covered this before, Ian, actually, because, you know, I'm looking for maxing out about 8% move in the dollar, and, you know, Bitcoin can move 10% in an afternoon. So there's a completely different kettle of fish. It will be a tailwind for gold, to a certain extent oil. Gold is another one we're looking at to get long. You know, I wouldn't put people off getting long gold as long as this dollar pushes. It was ready. Gold is ready anyway for a push higher. Let's look at that on a weekly. So the gold and the gold Elliott wave, which I'll put up to 4. That's what I'm seeing. Obviously, this goes higher. But it was obviously, so that is where I'm seeing we are, and we're at the start. And I'm looking for a pullback at some stage. Though, if you look at the daily on gold, the trouble is with it is that you've had this bogus spike here. So the true low is probably about here, and so you're getting a bit of a push up here, and I want the pullback, and then I'm interested. And with that combined with the DXY going, makes me interested in getting long gold at the same time. Okay, so that is the overall picture on gold and DXY. The first name Guraziz Sachdeva. Yeah, sorry. No, I try and pronounce everything. I'm not entirely rubbish. I do my best. Right, is there anything else? Because you know, I'm here to help. If there's nothing else, I can call it, but I will wait a few seconds. So I know after you type in, it does take a minute or so for everything to appear on the chat. So if there are any last minute requests, pop them in now, and I'll just wait a second before calling it. Ada, I'm only going to say the same stuff. I'm just going to say, you know, it's fine. It's a use case coin, which gives it my vote. It's not one on the list of stuff I'm going to buy, but I'm just waiting for exactly the same stuff. You know, Bitcoin fall, they'll all fall, then you see a chance to get it. Right, is Elliott wave worth learning? 100%. And on that bombshell, see you tomorrow, 10:30 UK.